Today, we're going to talk about how to get what you want. First of all, I want to make sure that I let you know that there's stages to everything that I teach and everything that I talk about. I want you to understand that everything I teach and everything I talk about, this has been perfected over a 50-year period of time. The things and the processes that I talk to you about and I tell you about, from the 7 streams of income to time management, to every process that we talk about, I actually do this every single day of my life. So I'm not going to talk to you about something that I haven't experienced. I've started businesses for other people, was very successful. I've worked for other people and ran their companies, very successful. And I'm an entrepreneur at heart. So I've started my own and very successful at them. But I want you to know that before I get to how you get it, I want you to understand that it is a process. Everything that I talk about, it is a process. And so as we talk about the process, some of the first things that you need to do before you even get to how do you get it is some other things that you've got to find out. First of all, we all struggle with an identity crisis. We really don't know who we are. We really don't know the ins and outs. We don't know our triggers. We don't know what make us tick. We don't know any of that. So first of all, I will tell you, to thine own self be true. You have got to get over your identity crisis, and you've got to discover who you are without the outside influence of somebody else telling you who you are. I want you to understand that their opinion of you is just that, an opinion. It is not your identity. It is not who you are. You dictate and you decide who you are. You decide if you're going to be a woman or man of honor. You decide if you're going to be a woman or man of integrity, of determination, a man or woman that has willpower and tenacity. All of those are decisions and choices that you make. So first thing you need to do in this process is come in contact with who you really are. What makes you tick? What is your triggers? What is helping you to make these decisions? Are you making them from your childhood? Are you making them from an adult standpoint? What are you making your decisions based on? Because it is so important that you are able to identify that. So first of all, identify who you are. Come to grips with who you are. Like who you are. Don't just like who you are, but love who you are. I can tell you from firsthand experience that I haven't always loved who I am. If I think about it, when I think about my childhood, I was dark skinned and grew up in the South, knock-kneed, skinny, hair didn't look the way that I wanted it to, felt unnoticeable, felt invisible, felt like I didn't fit in, felt like I didn't belong. I can go on and on and on, because my story is not an easy journey. I did not come into this world feeling the way that I feel now. Now I'm confident. Now I feel like that I can take on the world. But that's not my story. My story comes from being insecure, being afraid, feeling like I wasn't good enough, feeling like I didn't belong, feeling like I didn't fit in, feeling like an outcast, feeling like no one would ever love me, feeling unlovable. I mean, I can go on and on. So I encourage you to get the book and read The Enemy Within Me Is Real, because it'll just give you a little glimpse of what I'm talking about. And what most people don't realize is that it's a struggle to be successful, because your number one person that you're competing with is self. You're competing with yourself from your childhood traumas, your childhood interactions. What you were told in your childhood gets embedded in your subconscious and you believe it. Understand that from birth to adulthood and on, you are being programmed by your peers, by society, by all of these different groups that's telling you who you should be and that you had to fit in and that you had to fit in this mold. I came by to tell you, you don't have to fit in anybody's mold. You have your own identity. Walk in your greatness. There's not another you. I'm 100% Sheila Benjamin Inusa, and there's no better me than me. But it took me some time and a journey and a process to come to understand that. So once you get in touch with who you are and your identity, and you become to love yourself, the good, the bad, and the indifferent, you become to love yourself, then you're ready to go on to the next step. The next step is, what do you want? And I always say, not only what do you want, but how bad do you want it? Are you willing to put in the work? Are you willing to do the necessary things that is required for you to achieve what you want? But sad to say, most of us do not even know what we want. I was in my late 20s. According to everyone else, I was very successful. I was on the top of my game. I had achieved real estate, opened up a business, worked for other people, was working 3 jobs. I had did this, that, and another. And by everybody else's terms, I was considered successful. But for me, I was basing stuff off of their terms, but for my terms, I still wasn't successful, because for me to be successful, I feel like I have to have the whole package. I have to have every area of my life where it needs to be, and that's what success looks like to me. So I ask you the question, only you know what success looks like to you. What does success look like to you? Who are you? What does success look like to you? And what is it that you truly want? Not what people have told you to want. Not what people has told you is a money maker that would make good money. Because I came by to tell you that if you're operating in your gift and in your purpose, money cometh. You can take your gift, your talent, what you were really designed to do, and you can make a living and you can make money off of that. And so that's why you have to ask yourself the question. I mean, like I said, I was in my late 20s when someone had to tell me, look, you're not living, you're just existing. And then as I went to go on, I had to come up with, who am I? I had to identify who I am, and I had to be okay with who I am. After all of those years of not liking who I was, all of a sudden I had to come face to face with Sheila as an adult, and I had to learn to love Sheila and accept Sheila for who she was. And then after that, I had to determine, what is it that I want? What is it that I want? What makes my baby tick? What is it that I'm willing to do to achieve exactly what it is I want? And when I came up with what I want, it didn't have nothing to do with what other people had told me. Understand, I was a successful real estate agent. I was a nurse by this time, working in oncology, which is what I always had to do. I was an entrepreneur, owned businesses, but also had started and was operating businesses from other people, learning as I go. But by my standards, I still wasn't successful. Why? Because I had lined everything up to what other people had told me that I was good at, and I wasn't walking in my own purpose. I wasn't walking in my own destiny. So it took someone else coming by to tell me, look, there's so much more to you than what you see here. This is not who you are. Find out who you are and learn to operate in your gifts and talents. That was the best advice that anyone could have ever gave me, to learn to operate in my own gifts and my own talent. But it helped me to realize that I didn't even know who I was, and I was in my late 20s. But I know who I am now, and I love who I am now, and I walk in my own purpose and my own identity, and it's not based on the world in which I live. It's not based on what everybody else thinks or what anybody else think I should do, because now I realize that people's opinion is just their opinion. It does not define who I actually am. I define who I am. I define my self-worth. I define my integrity. I define my determination. Those are all things that I define for myself, which brings me to the third step. How do you get it? And that is so important. But you've got to go through this process. You've got to do all of the other things that I talked about, and you get to the process. How do you get it? You know how you get it? And I'm telling you from example. And I've done it time and time and time again. I can start a new business tomorrow and be successful at it, because guess what? I'm going to show up every single day. You have to show up regardless of how you feel, regardless of your emotions. You got to show up and do what you know to do, even if you don't see a result. If you don't see a result after 1 month, you start feeling some kind of way. 6 months, you're really feeling some kind of way. Should I change things up? Should I just give up? No, you've got to have the tenacity to stay the process. You have got to show up every single day, regardless of what you feel. You have to learn that your feelings is not relevant in business. Your feelings is not relevant in what you're trying to achieve and what you're trying to accomplish. You have got to be determined. So you have got to show up every single day, regardless of what it looks like. You have got to be determined that you are going to succeed regardless of what it looks like, and you've got to know that failure is not an option. I don't believe in having second plans. I don't believe in having backup plans, because for me, failure is not an option, and I'm going to keep at it day after day after day. And I'm telling you from a first-hand experience. I started a business and it didn't look like anything was coming. 6 months had gone by, and I'm talking to God, and I'm like, I know that I'm in my purpose. I know I'm where I'm supposed to be, but it's 6 months, so what do I do now? And the only thing I knew to do was stay the course. I was determined each day, regardless of what it looked like. I had a schedule, and every day at that same time, I showed up to work, didn't have any clients, didn't have any customers, but every day I showed up just like I had an abundance of clients. You know what? I showed up every single day until the manifestation of the clients was made possible. And then not only did I show up every day, I did my due diligence. I made sure that I was learning. I made sure that I was growing. I made sure that I was fine-tuning my business. I made sure that I was lining everything up. And then, even though I was doing stuff and I was sending stuff out and I was getting rejection after rejection and denial after denial, and nothing that was coming in was good, but I stayed the course. It is so important that you stay the course, knowing that if you stay the course, you will get the result that you desire. So I stayed the course. 9 months, I'm staying the course. I'm not seeing any result. I'm beginning to get antsy. I'm beginning to get worried. But no matter what I was feeling, no matter what emotion that I had to deal with, every day I showed up. And that's what you've got to learn. You have got to show up. I showed up. It was almost a year before it turned around, but I showed up every single day, not knowing how I was going to make it, not knowing how much longer I could hold on. I still showed up every day like it was already happening, like it was already doing. And so by the time it actually started rolling and started manifesting, I was ready to move with it. I was ready to take that business to the next level, and I was able to take it to the next level quickly. But you have got to be determined. You have got to have a never give up, a never quit attitude, and you have got to show up each and every day, regardless of what you feel. Look, I did it, so can you. Until the next time, take care of you.